If I was born to be a winner, then I'ma grow up to be a go-getter. Blood, sweat, and tears written in the blacks of kings. 1 in a million, the billions that have to sing.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the British Racing School ahead of the RMA Stakes annual racing event. We've had a few races already, so stay tuned because we've got the big feature coming up. Well, I'm joined here, delighted to be joined here by my co-presenter, Grace Carter. Grace, great to have you on. How excited are you for today?
I'm so happy to be here. It's an honour to be presenting. It's a strong race card, but I'm most excited about the feature race. The crowd is buzzing, the anticipation is huge, and of course the sun's out, the weather's beautiful.
Well, the atmosphere is absolutely incredible. The sun is shining, and as presenters, we love that. We hate the rain, we love the sun. So this is going to be an incredible day. So make sure you're here, stay tuned, stay with us. We've got loads coming up. But we're here at the British Racing School, and one thing that's important is obviously the prize fund, but the prizes that are on offer as well. And fashion is super, super important, and Dan can tell us more.
Thanks, Liam. I'm here with Alexa. Alexa, what's your role at the Racing Media Academy Stakes today?
Hi Dan, I am part of the social media team here with the Racing Media Academy, and we have come today to create content and showcase the RMA Stakes.
And what types of things are you looking for here today?
So in the competition, I'm looking for elegance, I'm looking for class and a real eye-catching outfit. It could be short dresses, it could be long dresses, it could be bright colours because summer is coming around. If it is a suit, I would say wear something smart and sharp looking, but to be honest, I think it's anyone's competition.
And what platforms can our viewers reach you on?
So our main socials are Instagram and TikTok, so we'll be creating content on there to showcase the race day and really show you the behind the scenes and in on the action as well.
Thank you very much. That's great. I'm looking forward to seeing what the winners are today. But for now, back to you, Grace.
Well, colour and beauty, we will see. I must say, Grace, you're looking absolutely divine today.
And yourself?
Thank you very much. Well, let's jump back to the racing and head into the field for today. Here are your runners and riders for the RMA Stakes 2024. So here's the field. 3-year-olds and above on the turf course. A £50,000 prize up for grabs over 6 furlongs. Number 1 is last year's runner-up, Roman Attack. Roman Attack will be trained by Lucy Burling and ridden by legendary classic winning rider Michael Hills. He'll spot the green with the pink cross. He'll be looking to go one better than last year. He obviously was beaten short head last season. Number 2 is the favourite and last year's winner of the renewal, Prince Karam. Prince Karam is trained by Elizabeth Sullivan and ridden by amateur rider Ned Sangster. So he'll be spotting the maroon silks with the black lapels and obviously trying to keep his head in front once again. Finally, the outside of the field is number 3, the Gay Cavalier. He'll spot the green with the black and white sleeves. He's trained by Sarah Hayes Salter and will be ridden by Lulu Stanford, carrying 9 stone. So there is your field for the RMA Stakes. We've had a few races already, but here are the horses. So obviously a couple of these horses will be suited to different grounds. So let's speak to the clerk of the course, Penny Taylor. Penny. Good morning. Good morning. There's obviously been a brilliant day so far. We've had a lot of sun, but we did have a couple of drops of rain last night. Has there been any notable changes we should be aware of?
No, the ground remains good. I'm very happy with it. It's very early in the season. We've got a good covering of grass. Obviously, it's been a testing winter for everyone. There was a slight ground frost this morning, but thankfully the sun's come up now and it should be a good day.
Well, absolutely. You mentioned the sun is up, but that's not always the case, is it?
No, we were very exposed here and weather can come in very quickly, different weather fronts, but thankfully today the forecast is looking really good, so hopefully everyone should have an enjoyable day.
And last year we obviously had heavy ground, so it's completely different to what we have today. Just in terms of the upkeep of the ground in your role, what does your day-to-day look like?
Okay, day to day I'm managing the team that look after the estates. We've got a fantastic team that work for us here at the British Racing School, not only maintaining the ground on the course but all the estates around and keeping the actual racetracks and the facilities in pristine order for any visitors that come around. Managing the turf is obviously a huge prime month for us, and we spend a lot of time. We have frost covers on throughout the winter, but now we've been able to let the grass grow and hopefully give a perfect racing surface is what we always look to achieve.
We've done a fantastic job for today. The jockeys, I'm sure, are going to be happy, and other trainers. So thank you very much, Penny. Let's go back now. We've obviously heard about the ground, but let's hear from the horses. Laura can tell us more.
Hi Liam, I'm down in the paddock here. The rain has held off, the sun is shining, so let's go take a look at some of the runners. They look magnificent. So the first runner we have today is horse number 2, Prince Karam, and he's the favourite. A course and distance specialist. We've seen this horse win twice. He's looking a little bit like he is back on his winter coat. He is a nice, small, compact horse, but the thing is, we haven't seen him for 365 days of the year. Something to take note of, but maybe he can do the treble. Now, I'll bring you to horse number 1, Roman Attack. Now, I really like this horse. His coat has come through beautifully. He's stepping out gorgeous, and he's really walking for his groom in hand here. This horse was beaten twice on his first 2 starts, only by a short head in his last race, and was very, very unlucky. Ned Sangster takes the ride here, and hopefully he can guide him to a victory. Now, last but not least, we have horse number 3. This is the Gay Cavalier. Now, something to note about this horse is that he had blinkers on in the preliminaries, but he got a little bit upset and they've had to take them off. Now, this horse is by Theophil, and he is a smashing sort. He's got a nice big shoulder on him, nice hindquarters, and he's really looking magnificent. There's plenty of options here for the judges to choose for best turned out, but my favourite will have to be number 1, Roman Attack, for the Lucy Burling team.
Well, thanks very much, Laura. Some very interesting thoughts there, Grace, wasn't there, what Laura said about the horses that are parading? For you, on a general basis, what are you looking for when a horse turns out?
Personally, obviously, they all looked very well. They all had very good coats, but for me, I do love a good plaited up horse, a nice mane, nice tail. I think it really adds to the whole feel of being at a race course on race day. And I'm quite disappointed that these horses, the trainers and stable staff didn't go the extra mile with the presentation just to add that little bit of class.
Absolutely, it would have been nice to see, but one of the other things I picked up on was the blinkers. Now, for you, and on a general basis for the viewers at home that don't actually know, what do the blinkers do for a horse in a race?
So the blinkers help focus a horse, but this horse was 3rd on his last 2 starts. It's a bit disappointing to see he's not wearing this gear. It's not looking good, I don't think.
Well, there's no blinkers for it, but there's been some changes in the betting. 6-4, Dan, tell us more.
Thanks, Liam. It's a very, very interesting race here in the first at Newmarket. It's a £50,000 feature in what looks a trappy little contest. Prince Karam looks a strong contender. He's 2 out of 2 over course and distance, having won this race for the last 2 years. It was interesting to see what Laura said about him in the paddock. Personally, I think 6-4 is a very skinny prize, given he's not getting any younger. Then we've got Roman Attack, who's only beaten a short head here last time out. I think the step up in triple suit, and I think 2-1, 9-4 in places looks a little bit of value against the field. I'll be interested to see and hear what Lucy Burling says about his chances here today. Then we've got the Gay Cavalier, who has a little bit to find with the market principles. He is consistent, but does have a little bit to find. I'll keep an eye out on the market, so come back to me for my paddock pick later on. But for now, back to you, Grace.
That was really interesting. I thought the favourite would be shorter in the betting.
Absolutely, you would have thought so, given he's won the last 2 renewals. So absolutely, I agree with Dan. 2-1 does seem a good price. But actually, we can hear from the market favourites trainer, because it'll be interesting to hear the trainer's thoughts, particularly given that these horses have been off a layoff. So let's hear from Laura in the paddock, who can tell us more about what the trainers have to say, because obviously, Grace, that's exactly what we want to know. We want to know the inside knowledge, don't we? That's very, very interesting.
I mean, I'm quite interested in Prince Karam. I think he'll take the beating. He's out 2 for 2 over the distance and course, so having won his race the last 2 years, the chances are good for him.
And what about his layoff though? He's been off for 365 days. Do you think that's going to be a negative for him?
Well, this is just his race. He wins it every time he runs. They're saving him so he performs the best here. This is his race course, this is his home.
Absolutely, I agree. This is definitely his track, but we can hear more from his trainer with Laura.
Now, the prize money on offer here today is amazing. Let's go talk to some of the trainers. Now, here I have with me Beth Sullivan, trainer of horse number 2, the favourite, Prince Karam. Now, Beth, we haven't seen him for a year, but you're going for the treble. Why haven't we seen him for a year?
He just needed his downtime at the end of last season. He's come into this race really well. He's in great shape. He's in great form. He did a nice piece of work at home in the run up to this. So, you know, we've got high hopes for him to make a good return today.
And you've got amateur jockey Ned Sangster on board. Now, this will be Ned's 5th ride on the rules. Does he know the horse quite well, or what's the partnership there?
Yeah, Ned's been in riding out for us regularly. He did give Prince Karam his last piece of work the other day, so we're confident that Ned's the correct person to ride for us today.
Brilliant. And now, so he's drawing in the centre of the stalls today, and he can get racing a little early. Will the plan be to drop him back and come on that late run again like he did last year?
I think so. Ultimately, I've got full confidence in Ned that he'll know, how to place him as to how he goes. He's obviously got form compared to the other 2 horses, so we're pretty confident that it will all go in his favour and that Ned will be able to read the race accordingly.
Brilliant. And just to touch on your season going so far, so you've already had 6 winners on the board this season. How much are you looking forward to the upcoming season?
Yeah, it's been a great start for us this year. We've got a good team of staff at home and a great team of horses with some really supportive owners, so hopefully we'll keep throwing out those winners and it'll be a good year.
Thank you so much, Beth, and best of luck. Right, we're just going to go and speak to Sarah now. We'll get a quick word with her. Sarah, how are you feeling today? Now, we just need to ask, your horse had blinkers on in the preliminaries and he acted up and he just got a little bit upset. What can you tell me about that?
Yeah, we tried them at home with him and he was absolutely fine, but I think actually getting to the races and everything just got to him. So we've left them off today. Hopefully, he'll come back to the form that he had previously.
Okay, that's brilliant. Thank you so much and the very best of luck with your runner.
Thank you very much.
Okay, back to you in the studio, Liam.
Well, hopefully we can see a more improved version of the Gay Cavalier because he has plenty of scope to improve. Now, one of the main things we have to discuss today is we're here at the beautiful British Racing School. But Grace, tell us exactly what the British Racing School do.
Yes, well, we are at the racing school today. It's an iconic venue for the race. There's so many courses here at the racing school and so many facilities. We've got a humongous indoor school. It's the biggest one I've ever seen. And an even bigger outdoor school. There's also a 2.5 furlong round gallop and then the 6 furlong straight gallop, which all the races will be taking place on today. There's also the Peter Sullivan House, where the jockeys can rehabilitate and train with simulators. The school is just amazing.
So it's definitely a fantastic place to be. So tell us a little bit more about what the programme looks like, the racing programme, because what we could see is future jockeys in this race.
So there are several courses that are held throughout the year. If you have no experience with racing, you can come on the 18-week course. This teaches you all the basics, how to look after a horse, how to ride a horse. If you have a bit more experience with riding, maybe from a different discipline, such as show jumping or dressage, a 12-week course might suit you better. And then if you're coming from a racing yard, you can join the 6-week course just to polish up those skills before heading back out into the industry. And of course you can do the licence courses, and if you're more suitable to the ground, there are groundwork courses as well.
And one of the fantastic things about this place is the retraining of racehorses. Just how important is it to show that equine welfare and how much this community actually cares about its former racehorses?
There is a lot of stigma about what happens after a racehorse's career. Obviously, people are worried they're not cared for very well, but the racing school, it is their passion here to look after the horses. Once they retire, they come here, they teach children how to ride, they're looked after, they're groomed every day. It's a fantastic experience and a lovely atmosphere.
Sounds brilliant. Well, we can bring in the absolute expert here, Duncan Gregory. You obviously work here at the racing school. Grace, lead us away there.
So, Duncan, could you tell us a little bit about your role here at the school?
Well, I would say my role is a bit like spinning plates. As you've mentioned, there's an awful lot that goes on here, and the many elements of that need to be coordinated. So I guess that's my role, trying to make sure that we don't smash too many plates.
Well, it sounds very challenging, but I'm assuming quite rewarding as well?
Yeah, it is very rewarding, and I think that the nice thing about being here is to see some rather raw young people who come in, can't ride particularly well, haven't got a lot of knowledge of life, and over the time they're here, whether it's 12 or 18 weeks, they flourish into adults and people who can go out and hold down jobs in the industry.
Are there a lot of students that come through the school?
About 200 a year on foundation courses, so we have a fair number through, and they then progress on from here into an apprenticeship in a racing yard, and hopefully make a huge contribution to racing.
And for our viewers out there that are interested in attending the racing school, how do they apply?
Generally online. We have a website that they can apply through, but we also offer open days, so that's a great opportunity to come and learn a bit more about the school before actually applying.
That's brilliant.
Well, Duncan, you're not just an expert here at the racing school, you're also an owner, and you own last year's runner-up Roman Attack. Obviously he's a 13-year-old now, but can we see a little bit more improvement? Obviously he's going to be stripped fitter after this race.
I'd like to think so. Certainly the trainer tells me so. I think he's been working well, and he's been focused and targeted at this race, so we hope he'll go one step further today.
And obviously you're in a good place already because you've got legendary rider Michael Hills on board. How much of a bonus is that?
Oh, I think it's massive, yes. Yeah, he's obviously got a huge amount of experience, and he knows the horse very well.
And do you have a good relationship with Michael and the trainer?
Absolutely, yes, very good.
And how important are relationships in racing? Because it's quite a small community, isn't it?
It is, but it is all about having those close connections and those good working relationships. Not everything goes right all the time, but it's working through the things that don't go so well.
Well, we wish
more
you.
so than perhaps the high successes, but that's what we're hoping for today.
Well, we wish you the absolute best of luck. Hopefully you can go one better than last year. Roman Attack, that was Duncan Gregory, the owner of number one. Horse number one, joy of the inside stall, and obviously, as we mentioned, has Michael Hills aboard. So that was our horses. Grace, that was a brilliant chat, and obviously interesting to hear about the racing school, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's brilliant to learn about what happens behind here. Isn't it time to hand back to Dan?
Well, we can now hand back to Dan, who tells us more about his tip.
Thank you, Liam and Grace. Roman Attack is the bet for me. Only being a short head last time out, up in trip with the top jockey on board, I expect him to be bang there. 9-4, 2-1, 9-4 in places looks a value bet against the favourite. I hope that Michael kicks from the 2 furlong pole, dictates up top, and he could take some beating. The favourite, Prince Karam, is obviously a bet because of the 2 out of 2 over course and distance, and clearly goes well fresh. 6-4 could be skinny, but if you like him, I'd get on now. Then we've got the Grey Cavalier, who obviously needs to improve on his previous 2 runs. The ground needs to make the difference really. He's run his last 2 races on bottomless grounds. Hopefully this drier surface here today will have an effect. 7-2 from 4-1, but as we said, he will need to improve. I think Roman Attack is probably my bet. I would take 2-1. 15-8 now. that would be my play against the favourite. But who do you fancy at home is the key answer here today. If you fancy Roman Attack, I would take the price now in case he shortens further. So if you fancy him, I'd get on quickly. But for now, back to you, Liam.
Well, we heard from Dan, his tip, Roman Attack. I absolutely agree. We heard from Duncan Gregory. Is he your pick as well, Grace?
I think I'm backing Prince Karam just because of his track record, but a lot can happen in this race. Not only is the ground completely different to the last 2 years, there's also the train track in the back of the field. There could be a train at any time that could throw the entire race. Anything could happen. Absolutely anything can happen in a horse race. We must reiterate that. Things can happen, but we make sure we can do the best we possibly can. Now, I'm with Roman Attack as well. He was only beaten a short head last time out, and we can hear from Dan, who can tell us a little bit more about the analysis. We're moments away from the race, as we can see on the other screen. The jockeys have mounted, so we are just preparing to get down to the start. So it's going to be a great race. Let's bring in Dan here, who can tell us a little bit more about the analysis of the jockeys and the trainers and the horses, everything. Dan, Roman Attack's your pick. Why is he your pick?
I think the step of intrude's really going to suit him. Only been a short head here last time, just was a bit outpaced the 2 furlong pole, and I think he's really going to suit this track.
And tell us about the track as well. We heard that it's going to be good ground. We've had a beautiful day. Is that going to suit him? Yeah, I think so. I think last time was a little bit softer, but a bit like the Grey Cavalier who ran on bottomless ground last time out. I think the better ground is definitely going to suit him as well. I think the favourite's going to take all the beating. We know that, but 6-4 is a very, very short price. I think 2-1, 9-4 in places for Roman Attack is worth taking. What do you make of those odds as well? Because it is strange that we're seeing such a big price for Prince Karam, given that he's won the last 2 renewals. Yeah, I think it's what Laura said in the paddock. I think he looks well, but he's not getting any younger. And I think as they age, they may need the run. And that's the way I look at it. And we're just seeing the parade round now. Obviously, we've got some pretty impressive jockeys on here. Michael Hills, we heard, he's on board yours. How much of a factor do you think that's going to play? I think it's going to be massive. I hope he dictates. I hope he bounces out at the front and dictates the pace, and then hopefully at the 2 furlong pole he'll kick on and he won't get caught. And obviously we spoke about Michael Hills. He's a classic winning rider. He's won the Derby. We're covering the classics next week, must I say, on this channel, and we've got our first one next week, the Guineas. Who is your pick, and who are the horses to follow in the 2000 Guineas? Well, I think we need to start off with City of Troy. 4-6 is very, very short, but he's been mighty impressive. I think I'd look elsewhere. I'd look for some each way value, and I'd be with Ghost Rider for Clive Cox. Won the Royal Lodge really well last time, getting up late on the line, and I think he's going to go well. He was impressive. And we must remember as well, a lot of these will begin to fill out in their 3-year-old campaigns. Grace, who are you within 2000 Guineas?
For me personally, I'm back in Notable Speech, trained by Charlie Appleby. I just think he's a great horse, great trainer, a lot of opportunity there. Well, he was very impressive last time out. He actually got held up for a run, didn't he, Dan? But he managed to kick on late well. Yeah, he did. I think the trip and the track will suit him. It's a difficult race. It's one of those that if City of Troy gets his own way, I think he's tough to peg back. But I think that there is a few horses with a little bit of each way value and may be able to take on the favourite. Well, let's pick up on another one of Charlie's horses, Ancient Wisdom, who runs today at the Gordon Richards Stakes at Sandown. He was impressive last season as a 2-year-old, winning the Futurity Stakes. Is this trip just a little bit short for him in the Guineas? Yeah, I think so. I think he probably is more of a mile and a quarter horse, even mile and a half. Epsom might suit a little bit more, so I think the trip is the concern there. The trip's the concern there, is what we've heard from Dan. We go over to the 1000 Guineas for the fillies. Charlie has a couple of nice runners in there. Dance Sequence obviously ran in the Nell Gwyn the other day. Were you impressed with her performance? Yeah, I think she was still a bit raw, a bit green. She wandered about a bit and nearly got up. In all honesty, I thought she was going to get up and show her class. I think she's going to take some beating. I think she's about 4-1, 9-2, and I'd certainly be looking at that price. Really? And what about the favourite Fallen Angel? Yeah, I think Fallen Angel... It's that the performance of the Curragh was very, very impressive, and she's definitely the one to beat. I'm not sure I'd be getting involved at that price. I'm looking elsewhere. Kyle Burke's had an impressive season, so we'll obviously be hoping that he can pick up a classic this season. There's a couple others from Charlie's yard. Cinderella's Dream
She actually had an incredible season out in Dubai, and on Super Saturday, William Buick actually lost his irons and he had to just sit out and take his legs out. So she still won that race by 5.5 lengths. How impressive is it that, well, he didn't even have a saddle basically and he still won?
Very, very impressive. I think the only thing that could go against her is the ground. If we get a lot of rain during the next week, she may find it difficult, but if we keep to good ground, I think she's definitely going to have a good chance.
And Grace, who are you with in the 1,000 guineas?
I'm no pundit, everyone knows that, but I do agree with Dan. I will be listening to Dan's bets. I'll take in his tips, but I'm more excited for the atmosphere down in Newmarket. I love it there. It's a wonderful day.
It's an absolutely buzzing week here in Newmarket. Next Saturday, next Sunday, both Guineas days is going to be incredible, but for today we're here at the RMA Stakes and the horses are travelling now down to the start. Let's throw it over to Lexi, who can tell us more.
Thanks, Liam. So as we've been talking about, it is a very tight contest. Prince Karam is the obvious favorite here. He's won this race twice before and he's going for a hat trick. Gay Cavalier is a great outsider bet for those looking to cash in any big bets. He's been placed in every run. He's just looking for that win. Oh, Prince Karam is feeling good today. So anyone who put their money on him, you can tell that he's ready for a big race. But I gotta tell you, I love an outside story. I'm going for Roman Attack here. He was beaten just a short head last year. He's been upped in grade in his stakes races this year, and I just really can't see him letting another horse get in front. If you watch him on the gallops in the morning, he's so competitive. I think he's going to give it all, and this might just be his big break. Everyone has entered the gate now after a little bit of resistance from the Gay Cavalier. We're just making sure that they're all nice and straight before letting the horses run and seeing if Prince Karam can pull off the hat trick. And they're off in the 2023 RMA Stakes. Gay Cavalier gets off to a terrible start, gets left behind at the gate, but Prince Karam has a beautiful beginning. He is flying ahead as they enter the second furlong, with Roman Attack sitting just off his flank and about 8 lengths back to the Gay Cavalier, who has a lot of ground to make up, and he is racing for it. Roman Attack sitting just off the flank in his preferred stalking position, and they are into the stretch, and the Gay Cavalier is eating up ground. He is flying up to the 3 of them. It is a 3-race stretch duel. We're going to see who cracks first, but it's Roman Attack. He is out of gas in the tank, and it's between Prince Karam and the Gay Cavalier. Prince Karam racing, sticking his nose in front, and he does it. Prince Karam pulls off the hat trick. The Gay Cavalier back by half a neck, and then back to Roman Attack.
Well, what a race that was. The RMA Stakes. Prince Karam does the three-peat. He becomes the king. The prince becomes the king of the RMA Stakes 3 times, Dan. How impressive is that?
That was very, very impressive. Gate speed was so key to the winning this race. I think Roman Attack ran well, but he just couldn't live with the favourite. That's a superb performance.
And how important was the break, really? Because the outsider Gay Cavalier, we saw he just a little bit jumpy at the start and just missed the break.
Yeah, I think he blew his chance at the start, if we're being honest. I think the gate speed that Prince Karam showed won him the race. He was so quick out the gates. Good ride from the jockey. Nice price as well.
It was a nice price, definitely. Second, obviously, Roman Attack. Prince Karam was our winner. Can we see him come back for a 4th time? Because clearly he's not letting loose now. Even though he's 12, he's still going.
He's proved the doubters wrong. 3 out of 3. 3 times in a row. Definitely can come back for the 4-peat.
Grace, what do you make of the race?
It was a fantastic race. I literally got chills watching it. I can't believe the Gay Cavalier was so slow out of the stalls, though. Didn't really give it much. There wasn't any oomph. He didn't seem like he wanted to race like how he has previously.
Yeah, I definitely think that was the difference, the starting stalls and how they broke from the gates. Obviously, you saw Roman Attack and Prince Karam just take a lead, and the Gay Cavalier was never able to get into his stride. He just didn't seem to relax, did he? And how important, Dan, is it relaxing before the start and just being able to feel comfortable with the horse?
I think the Gay Cavalier was a little bit keen down to the start, and in the paddock looked a little bit fractious. Had to be taken through the middle of the paddock at one stage just to calm down. I think that definitely had an effect.
And Grace, where do you think we can see Prince Karam go next? Is it going to be another year off and back to this race, or do you reckon they'll find a race in between?
He's definitely just staying at the racing school. This is his home turf, his perfect track. He loves it here, obviously.
He absolutely loves it here, and so do we. We love it here at the British Racing School. Dan, how have you enjoyed today?
It's been a great race. It's been a great occasion, and it's one of those performances that we're going to remember for a long, long time.
Just out of curiosity, for the viewers, there were only 3 horses that could place. What happens to the rest of the prize money?
So the prize money gets divided between all 3 of them. So they do, because they've finished, they get a little bit more, which is definitely key.
Brilliant.
I'm sure the jockeys will be happy with that, but especially the owners, because they'll be taking the majority of the pot. And it definitely was a nice race to win, especially for these horses who are 13, 12 and 12 at years of age. We don't even see that for 2-year-olds, do we?
Absolutely, it's an amazing achievement by all 3 of them. I think, as we said, the Gay Cavalier will be a little bit disappointed. He couldn't challenge for second place, but the winner was so good. It's amazing.
Definitely, I completely agree. Prince Karam is the king. Let's not call him the prince, we call him the king. King Karam here at the RMA Stakes. So the horses are heading down now, back to the pre-parade, or back to the winners' enclosure. We'll speak to the trainers and the owners very shortly. Finally, just touching up before we head over to Laura, Grace, what a day it's been for you as well.
I mean, it's been an honour to present here. I love being back at the British Racing School. It's just been an amazing day. The energy has been wild.
Absolutely, I could not agree more. Although, one thing I will pick up on, the sun's gone away and I don't like that.
Absolutely not. I think if we just touch a little bit more on the favourite, I'm just wondering what races he could look at now. Over the 6 furlong trip, we've got the Stewards Cup at Goodwood. Could he go for something like that?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's one to look at. Obviously, age is a factor, and the way they're definitely training the horses now is completely different, wouldn't it be, Dan?
Absolutely. At that age, they need a lot more time between their races. As he shows, he needs 365 days between a race. That's some achievement to be winning 3 in a row. If they can get him back here for next year, he could win again.
So what we can tell you is that he's picked up £150,000, or hang on, whatever the prize money is for the first horse in just 3 runs, which is incredible. And most trainers, most owners wouldn't even pick that up in one season. So this is a stakes the horses need to be targeting for next year. The RMA Stakes, we want more than 3 runners. This is not a 3-runner race. There's plenty to give, and we want to see more, don't we, Grace?
Of course we do. We want to see as many horses as possible. We want it to be tight, competitive. We want them to give it their all. There's so much potential here at the racing school. I think we should make the most of the facilities.
There's so much potential, and could we see some of these horses retrained here in the future?
Definitely. They love to have race horses come here and to help the students.
Well, we can wrap up here with us. Dan, thank you so much. We're going to head to Laura, who can tell us a little bit more about that win.
Prince Karam has just won the RMA Stakes for the 3rd year in a row, and I'm joined by winning owner Kate Hills. Kate, just what does that mean to you? How do you feel right now?
Oh, it's just such a thrill. We're so pleased. I mean, we've waited, as you know, quite a while with this horse. We had him home for a break, and it's just, this race, obviously it's a valuable race, and we aimed him at it. It was fantastic.
And this is a first win for jockey Ned Sangster. You've gone a different route this year by choosing him, but as Beth told us previous to the race, he's been looking after him, he's been riding him out. And how delighted are you to give Ned his first winner?
Oh, it's such a thrill. Do you know, he's been absolutely brilliant, Ned. He, as you say, he's been riding him out. He's got quite a rapport going with the horse now, and he just gave him such a great ride today. We're so pleased.
And now, so we know that you normally keep him for this race every year. Would you consider bringing him somewhere else and bringing him for maybe campaigning him a little bit further over the summer?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we'll discuss with the team back home what we will do with him. That he's got a number of options because he can stay over different trips. But I think I'll talk to the trainer about that, and we will discuss with them, and obviously I'm dying to hear what Ned's got to say as well, to see really what the best route is for him going forward.
Yeah, we are just delighted to see this horse every year, and a 3-runner race, it doesn't matter, because he came out of the stalls absolutely brilliantly, and I mean the Gay Cavalier couldn't even go with them, so it was just an absolutely fantastic race.
It was. He broke, as you say, he broke so well, and he's quick into his stride, and he travelled well throughout the race, and I just thought it was a fantastic effort, first time out for a while.
Well, it's been brilliant to speak to you, Kate, and well, hopefully we're going to see him on the track again this season.
I hope so too, and thanks very much to the team.
Right, let's go speak to our runner-up today. I'm going to grab owner Gregory Duncan. Duncan, could we have a quick interview? Now, so I'm here with the runner-up's owner, Duncan Gregory. Duncan, he just didn't really get the break there, did he?
Well, he was well away, but unfortunately we repeated what we did last year. We were runner-up. So
he still put on a great performance. He hasn't finished that far behind the winner. Will you go again soon?
Well, I'll speak to the trainer, but that would be my wish. Yes, absolutely. Keep them running.
That's brilliant. Great to see you here today. Thank you. Okay, back to you in the studio, Liam.
Thanks so much, Laura. Well, we're delighted to be joined here by presenter Josh Apiafi. Josh, you've put together this full race day and the programme, the Race and Media Academy. Why did you put that together?
I felt there was a certain or a singular demographic within our sport and our media, and I think it needed opening up to far more people than it was. There wasn't a pathway into it. People sort of found their own way, and I know you guys have spoken to various different speakers this week in terms of how they got into the sport, and everyone's is different. There wasn't a defined pathway, so hopefully this is the start of a pathway which you can now go on to your placements.
And are you pleased with the reaction to the Race Media Academy so far from the outer audience?
Absolutely. On social it's taken off. I've had texts and messages all over the place, so everyone's been behind it. The British Horse Racing Authority, the funders behind it, the Racing Foundation, Godolphin, Spotlight Sports Group, all the media partners have been highly infused and can't wait to meet all you guys at Sandown.
And can we see any further programmes in the future? Or talk to us a little about the other things you set up, actually.
Well, there's lots of things we've set up. Yes, you will definitely see the Racing Media Academy moving forward. There's long-term agreements with all the partners. So this was here for a long time. It's not it's something I set up, but it stands on its own 2 feet now. Lee's been magnificent along with Abby this week, and everyone here at the racing school. In terms of other things we've set up a racing business apprenticeship, again about entry-level jobs into our sport. So it's all about how we find you, looking at different communities and organisations about how you come into the sport, and then what you do, how you develop and you engage with the sport along the way through, be it as a fan or be it as the workforce.
Well, how important is it to have different communities involved in racing? Because we've obviously seen it with other sports and the developments and strides they've made, but racing has almost fallen a little bit behind, and now we're beginning to sort of pick up again.
Yeah, for a sport to be successful, or anything to be successful, it needs to be attractive to as broad a demographic as possible. And for a long period of time, it was the sport of kings, and it was only really towards the higher echelons of society, wasn't it? And it has grown, but there are definitely communities out there and demographic segments that it doesn't advertise itself to. I think once you do get horse racing and you get in, I think it's very welcoming, but it's getting them through the door. So what we did, we set up a supporter network, so looking at different organisations within those communities, how they can take racing out rather than just knocking on individual doors, using people that have got access to a large spread of people.
Well, Josh, you've clearly made an incredible impact on racing so far, but many others have as well, like Khadija Mellor. How important has she been in terms of creating an atmosphere for people to actually find their way into racing?
You can't be it if you can't see it, and I think Khadija personifies that. The work she's done, winning the Magnolia Cup 5 years ago, it'll be this year that she won the Magnolia Cup, but it just shows that she can do it. We've also got people like Brian Finch, who's the first non-white chairman of a racecourse. He's the chairman of Epsom. Even though he doesn't look, he's 60 plus, but equally maybe he doesn't look like some of our youngsters, but equally he'll look like you can gravitate towards him, because there may be a young black individual that wants to be part of horse racing. They might be too tall like me or my son who's 6'5", what roles are out there to them to go and do, and if there's someone out there that sort of looks like them, it means it's actually achievable, so they can then go and do it. So having pin-ups, Brian loves the fact that he's a pin-up of mine. Khadija Suleika Varma, who's the director of racing at Aintree and has just run a fantastically successful Grand National meeting. She was the only one of 500 senior directors 5 years ago in the sport from a non-white background. Now there are over 15, and that will grow. And what are we trying to do? We're trying to be representative society, and that's around about 14 to 15%. So 1 out of 500 no good, 15 out of 500 no good. But equally, those 15 will bring the next 15 and the next 15, and it will gradually grow. So then when you go to a race meeting, it's exactly the same as you walk down the high street. There's all sorts of different colours, sizes, heights, genders, all the way through, and that's what we want racing to be like.
Absolutely. Well, we've got a couple of days left of the Racing Media Academy. How impressed have you been by the cadets this year?
Oh God, they've been a nightmare. They've been brilliant, I have to say. I've had word there were people up at 10:30 last night still studying away, and there were people up at 7 o'clock this morning planning for today. So the work ethic has been fantastic this year.
Well, thank you so much, Josh. We have to thank you very much for the Racing Media Academy and everybody that's been involved. Lee, Abby, Kath, everyone that's involved at the Racing Media Academy. It's an incredible place to be, and make sure you apply for next year. If you are interested in media or racing, you don't have to be interested in either, but just apply anyway. It's a great experience, and we've got a couple of days left. We head to Racing TV studios later on and Sandown tomorrow, so it's going to be an incredible rest of the week. So the horses are now beginning to come down to the parade ring and the winner's enclosure. Obviously our winner was Prince Karam. Josh, what did you make of the winner?
Well, steady away. I was also standing in as starter as well, so it was good to see. Obviously, Michael Hills is ever keen to get out, but actually, I'm very proud as an ex-fat amateur jockey that the very lanky amateur beat the Derby-winning jockey out of the stall. So I thought that was a great start to the race.
Well, he's a tall old jockey, isn't he?
He is. They come in all shapes and sizes, as you can see.
Definitely. So Prince Karam is our winner, and they're heading now into the winner's enclosure. Please welcome our winner, Prince Karam.
So here we have the winner, Prince Karam, number 2. What a brilliant ride from Ned Sangster. His first career winner aboard this horse for owner Kate Hills and trainer Beth Sullivan. 3 wins in a row for this horse at this track. I mean, what an absolute servant. We might not get to see him very often, but when we do, he puts on a fantastic show. So let's see if we can get a quick word with the winning jockey. We'll just let him get his tack off, and we'll see if we can get a word in with him. Ned, can we get a quick word? It's your first winner. How do you feel after that ride?
Elated, ecstatic, over the moon, great feeling. Horse settled lovely, and very straightforward, and just a brilliant day. A day I won't forget.
And tell me this, you got a good break, but Michael Hills was close on your heels. Did you ever feel a bit worried about him coming up around your outside?
Broke cleanly. I could hear Michael in behind me, but the horse was very genuine, very honest, really tried, and it turned out to be very straightforward. If only they were all like that.
Well, look, it was an absolutely fantastic race, and well done on your first winner here.
Thanks a million. Thank you.
Let's get a word with the winning trainer. Beth, can we get a word with you? 3 wins in a row.
Absolutely thrilled. Ned gave him a great ride, followed instructions, and this result for Kate, who he's a homebred, she's been a huge supporter of me in the yard, so this is definitely a win for her, and she deserves it.
Now, I know you only like to run him once a year, but we want to see more of him. He's absolutely fantastic, and he just does everything so easily, so well. Are we going to see him again this year?
Look, we'll get him home, make sure he's okay, debrief with Ned, and see what Kate wants to do as well, because ultimately, it's her decision where we'll aim him for next, but more importantly, just see how he is after the race and see how he comes out of it.
Well, I had a word with Kate after the race, and she told me that she'd definitely like to see him run this season. So you're going to have to go and make a campaign for him.
I mean, I think Ascot would be the dream for everyone, but look, we'll see how he is at the end of the day and, you know, make a plan from there.
Yeah, like, look, this is a stakes race. He's won 50 grand here today, and, you know, with only 3 runners in the race, he's going to take up a lot more prize money. He's been, like I said, a brilliant servant to you, and we're just so delighted to have seen him here today.
No, he is super consistent and he tries. That's, you know, you can't ask any more of him. So we're thrilled to bits, and yeah, good for the team at home as well.
Thank you so much. Brilliant. Right, back to you in the studio, Liam.
Well, he's been an absolutely brilliant servant, has Prince Karam. An incredible training performance by Elizabeth Sullivan as well to keep this horse in training and still winning races.
It's just been an amazing day. The horse performed maybe not as well as we thought, but it was still an interesting race.
Definitely. There was a couple, obviously the Gay Cavalier disappointed a little bit. We'd have liked to have seen him at least kick on and there, perhaps give a challenge, but that wasn't the case. We had a two-runner race pretty much in the end, and it was an impressive day, and just fantastic week we've had.
Yeah, I did see a lack of whips being used, so do you think that's to do with the new rules coming in?
It could be. You know, there's definitely a lot of talk about the whip, and obviously there's a lot of information out there now about the whip, and for viewers at home, please to have a look at that, because it is very informative and it's great to understand about how this sport works, wouldn't you believe?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of opinions about it, so it's good to read up, make sure you've got your facts right before coming onto our racecourse protesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Do take a look at that, please, because it's so important, and we do care so much about our horses in this community. We've got the jockeys behind us now. Obviously, Michael Hill's incredible jockey, and he obviously finished second. He didn't quite get the win, but we're going to wrap this up here. It's been an incredible day, an absolutely brilliant week, and it's still so much more. Oh, hello. Amateur rider Ned Sanks just walked by. He's about 3 times my height, so he blocked my view. It was incredible there, but we're quite small. We're the presenting team. We won't tell the viewers at home that, or they've already heard it. But let's finally wrap this up. It's been an incredible week, an incredible day, and thank you so much for watching.
If I was born to be a winner, then I'ma grow up to be a go-getter. Blood, sweat, and tears written in the blacks of kings. 1 in a million, the billions that have the same.